Today I'm going to continue that video from yesterday where I was making this peekaboo honey tumbler. I spray painted it white yesterday and it's dry, but it's still kind of tacky. It's really humid here today. So take your weeding pen or whatever you like to weed with, and you just go where the vinyl is. You can kind of see it. And you just peel it off. Be careful not to nick the spray paint with your tool. After I get this all weeded, I will apply a coat of epoxy. Then I will show you how to do a drip on the top so it looks like honey is dripping down. I think I will do the honey in pink since this is a pink themed cup. I don't want to apply the decals on top of the paint directly because you will be able to see the edges of the decal. So I want to apply the decals until there's a coat of epoxy on the cup. Be sure and use removable vinyl. It's a lot easier to remove than the permanent. And I also try to use vinyl colors that I don't use very often. That way I'm not wasting good vinyl. Doesn't matter what color you use. Now if you want to color this pot instead of it being white and you wanted a honey color, you would leave the decals on and you can use alcohol ink. I use Tim Holtz alcohol inks mostly. A tan color, caramel would be pretty, or if you want more of a yellow base, butterscotch is real pretty. Butterscotch works perfect if you're turning one of these tumblers into a beer, to make it look like a glass of beer. Butterscotch from Tim Holtz is the perfect beer yellow. I think caramel is real pretty. I don't care for latte, so I don't use it much. And you would just brush on the alcohol ink with a sponge brush. Or you can use a sponge makeup brush and just put a drop on and then wipe it on the cup till the cup is completely covered. And after your alcohol ink is dry, then you can apply epoxy. I don't seal my alcohol ink. I just make sure that it's good and dry. And then apply the epoxy. And if you haven't used alcohol ink before, it changes color somewhat when it gets wet with the epoxy. And then it'll go back to the color that it's supposed to be. So don't get nervous and think that you've ruined your cup because you haven't. The latte especially gets kind of a green tint to it. I don't know why. And then it goes back to the light brown that it is. So I peeled off all the decals and exposed that pretty pink glitter underneath. Now I will take this and apply a thin coat of epoxy. And then the next steps will be to put the decals on there and then do the drip. And I'll show you a neat little trick how I learned to do the drips. So I don't have to babysit the cup, because with that wet epoxy and those drips, you have to turn your cup up and down so the drips can run, and you don't want to run them too far down, so then you have to tip it back over like this. And you can babysit a cup for 2 hours or more before a regular set epoxy will set up enough for it to not move all the way down your cup. So I will show you that in the next part, and I'm going to go epoxy this, then I will continue the video.